I'm now going to cover a product that we stock on the tvtrade.ie called the SPC4. It's manufactured by Global, and it's called, the official name on it here is the 4-way Super Plus Combiner. I'm just going to open up the box here now and show you. There's an instruction manual with it here, and this is the SPC4. And how and why you'd use this. Given on my right hand side here, we have a demonstration of many homes now have 3 and 4 skyboxes in it, and they're trying to use them from multiple locations. So this causes 2 problems. The first problem is how to combine the outputs from the boxes, so it can be run to several locations. And number 2 is how to identify which box, which remote, if you're using a Sky remote control, which box are you actually going to be operating. Okay, so what this does is it does 2 things. It combines the output from the 4 boxes, and it can actually be used in conjunction with this here, which is a link amplifier. So you can run the output of 4 boxes to a single television, or you can use this and run it to multiple televisions, so you can be operating multiple boxes from multiple rooms. With a Sky Eye, okay? So what we'll see here is there's numbers allocated at the bottom, the combiner ports here, okay? So we have 0, 1, 2 and 3, okay? And this will actually correspond to particular boxes. So the output from this top box here will go to import 0, and then for the next box will go to 1, and so forth, to a maximum of 4 boxes. Okay, so for this to work effectively, you have to have at least 2 boxes combined into it, because if you have less than 2 boxes, why would you possibly need a unit like this? Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way for a moment. So from the output of this, what we would have is, we would have it running into a Sky Eye, okay? So in this particular here, we have just a simple Sky Eye here, and you can look, the LED on the Sky Eye isn't operating. Now normally you would have the Sky Eye simply tucked into the back of the television, but just for demonstration purposes here, I have a lead coming off and running to the television. So I'm just going to quickly go through how we'd set up the boxes here, okay? I'm just going to keep this television live for another minute here, a bit of time out of me. I'll just turn the box right around like this, and on each one of the boxes you'll see there's SCART outputs and there's also RF outputs. So we want to use RF2, and the RF2, the idea of using this is it's a 9-volt output which will allow the box to be operated remotely, simply because we have a power signal that's coming from the box that allows it to take a signal from the Sky Eye and change channels. Okay, so we're going to take the top lead here, I'm going to feed it into box 1, I'm going to take the next lead and feed it into output number 2, or the second output is marked number 1, and the third output is marked number 2. Okay, it's a little bit confusing. I mean, I think myself would have been a much better idea if I had to number them 1 to 4, but in any case, that's the particular route we've chosen. Now, I just want to show you with these boxes here, because they're all feeding to a single thing. On a Sky box, you can set the output frequency, so you can set it to any number from channel 21 to 68, and the general rule would be you should never be using channels side by side, so at least 2 between. So if the first channel box was setting an output on channel 21, the next one would be working on channel 23 and so forth. So what I just want to do is demonstrate to you how this would be set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up the Sky remote and hit the services button quickly. Now I'm just going to turn off the other 2 boxes because we want to only be operating the 1 box. Now it says in the instructions here we should plug out the other boxes, but if you just make sure the other boxes are turned off, it's sufficient. So I simply go button 4 for system setup, and in quick succession then I push 0, 1, select, and it brings up the installer menu, and you can see the RF outputs here. So this box here has been set to output number 60. The RF outlet is set to on, and you want to save the settings. So we've already done all of that, okay? So basically, in preparation for this video, I set the first box to output number 60, the box below it to 62, and the bottom box to 66, and I tune them into channels 1, 2 and 3 on the television, okay? So that part has already been done, okay? Now, when I come along here, and we plugged in the various things here, when 1 feed fed in here, when 2 feeds are fed in here, this is when the light on the Sky Eye will come operating. So at this point I'm actually going to disconnect the SCART lead, because it can actually be a little bit confusing. See what's happening next, okay? So the first thing now is we want to get this remote control. We want to tune this remote control specifically to work this top box. So I've actually put a sticker on this thing and I put in the number 0 on it, so I know it corresponds to the top Sky box, okay? There's a procedure given for tuning this in. And it's quite simple here. I come along and I hit TV. Now when I'm doing this, once again I have to make certain that all the other boxes are turned off. And I go to channel number 1 on the television. which we're at here now, and you'll see it's channel 60, so that's corresponding to what this box was set to. So I hit the TV button, then I hold the select and the blue button together, and when I hold it, it flicks twice. Then I come along and I enter the number 0, which corresponds to the port this one is going to be using. I hit the select button, which is here, and then I hit Sky, and this has the side effect of actually bringing up an installation menu on the television itself, okay? But if I change channels here, you can see it's changed channels, but it'll change channels on all the boxes. You see it flicks up and back on each one of them. So I'll just actually come along here, and so just say I come along here and I typed in 501 here. If I go to channel number 2 on the television, which corresponds to this, you can see if I aim the remote control at the actual Sky boxes themselves, even though I've tuned it in specifically for the top box, if it's not going through the filter, it'll still operate the Sky boxes as normal. So what I need to do now is see what happens when I operate it through the Sky Eye itself. So I'm just going to lean over here and grab my coat. I'm going to throw them over this particular thing here now, and I'm going to try to operate this second channel here with the remote control, and you'll see that it's flashing, but it's not changing the channels here. But I'll go to channel number 1 here. And now I type in 101, you can see it will actually change that particular channel for me. So this remote control is it's specifically set up for that top box. So if I go to channel number 2 here, prior to this I've actually preset this. So if I grab this remote control here and try to change this channel here, you can see it won't do it for me, because it's just not going to operate it. Because it's not preset to that one. But if I use this particular remote, it will. And you just repeat that process for all 4 boxes. So you can see anyway, it's a great little system. You know, if people didn't have such complicated lives now and so many boxes, you wouldn't need this. But that's the reality of what we deal with. We can feed in free-to-air boxes into the system as well, where you can simply view the channel and have it combined in. But of course, it'll have the disadvantage that because, unlike Sky, which has a 9-volt output, it won't have an RF2. You won't be able to operate the boxes remotely, but you will be able to view the picture. So that's it from beginning to end. An overview of the purpose of, and also how to install a global SPC4, which is a 4-way Super Plus combiner.